Death Watch.
Okay, so we left off. You had made all your preparations to set out in search of the Isle of Penance. This morning dawns bright, blue skies as far as the eye can see. Good weather. There's a slight breeze. But all of the village has turned out, except for those in the most outlying homes, to see you off. So on the Heroes Plateau next to the house, your birds are set and ready. They've eaten. You've gotten your supplies and equipment ready, tightened down straps and harnesses, and the rest of the village stands behind you waiting for you to leave. And the mayor stands next to you, and she comes to each of you in turn and whispers hope of good luck and good weather and kisses you each on the cheek and says, we'll await your return. Most of the children of the village have managed to somehow leave the watchful eye of their parents and edge closer and closer to the birds, but they're not in any danger. But you can see them look on in wonder and awe, and you think that there won't be much difficulty getting people to sign up to be heroes in the future after seeing this. Yothlani gives you a nod, Fenrith, and she says, I won't wish you luck, for you and I both know you won't need it. So what do? Any last minute things you want to do or say?
Nope.
No.
I'll say a prayer, bless the party.
Oh, okay.
Nothing I want to do except not leave the village. And stay here in relative safety.
As we, after like 2-3 hours of traveling, we'll look back and Graham won't be on his rock. It's because he just slipped off.
I spent all night fashioning a dummy. The details are perfect.
Except that he didn't strap it in.
He's smarter than me, too.
Well, more wise anyway.
Better at tripping all the traps.
Yeah, I guess I'll clamber onto my rock and put my goggles on.
Okay.
Oh, what's in the chest? I'm going to check at some point what's in that chest.
Yeah, that's on the rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a box to hold.
Does it have any of the flags or symbols or signs, that
It does
we would use?
It has 3 different colored flags. It has a compass and goggles.
Okay.
Also folded up is the canvas sort of tarp that I described that can be hooked to
The rigging.
the rigging in order to cover you up in case
Okay.
of storms or whatever. Nazus is there to see you off. He says he'll continue to watch after the human, see what's going on with him when he wakes up. That the mayor and the council has taken up they've accepted my offer to stay here and teach anybody interested in how to defend the village. And I think, if you don't mind, I'll need to build myself a house because yours is the only one I fit in. So I thought up here on the plateau would be a good place for it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
All right, then. Good luck.
And to you.
I'll make sure the village is still here when you get back. You have my word.
Notice he didn't promise not to enslave them with magic.
Yeah.
He has his fingers crossed. All right. You just time to go?
Yep.
Yep.
So what do these work by kind of running them off the edge and they'll gain flight?
Yeah, normally, but they're standing right on the edge of the cliff.
So
It's
jump
like
off.
200 feet down to the ground. So, yeah, they just leap off and away they go. So they leap from the cliffs and spread their wings, taking you out over the beach to the ocean beyond. For the first few flaps of their wings, the intersections of it almost touch. So just when it seems as if they'll continue their approach and crush you between feathered walls, they change direction and spread flat with a whoosh that you can feel in your bones. You soar through the skies at a sharp upward angle as your rocks gain altitude. Below you, the land stretches out in all directions. To each side of you, the wings rise and fall in a slow, almost leisurely process, seemingly at odds with the task of propelling you and your mount into the sky. When you finally gain your mount's desired altitude, which you guess to be somewhere around 10,000 feet at least, the steady pressure of your harness lessens as you level out and you find your seat quite comfortable. Because you had that effect when you were going up where your harness is keeping you upright. So you were going at such a steep angle, you would have just tumbled right off the back. But you level out and that pressure eases, and then you've got a pretty comfortable seat. The wings stop flapping for the most part and instead stretch out to their full length, turning and tilting ever so slightly from time to time to keep you aloft on the strong current that seems to whip at you from every direction by turn. Your route takes every current in stride, calmly tilting wings and slight banks zip you along at fantastic speeds. You see water stretch out ahead of you. You can see 150 miles to the horizon. That's what you guess is about how far you see. And then the world seems to end in a sharp curved line that never gets any closer. Behind you, the island of Cradle, the entire world, as you have known it all your life, slowly shrinks into the distance. Right, so at this altitude, the air is a little bit thinner, but it's not anything that's going to cause you any problems. But you're sitting there on your seat, and the bird stretches out, its head stretches out in front of you, and they're constantly looking, around. And I described before how you can't see directly below you, but still you can look out and see ocean without end. It's kind of an awe-inspiring vision. Just interrupt if you want to do anything specific, or I'll just keep on going.
Well, I guess signal Rohan to take the lead, right? And we're going.
He already had his bird seems to take the lead on her own.
All right.
The rest of them get into a formation, although the distances between you are such that it's hard to call it a formation because these are massive birds. So there is quite a bit of distance between you, at least for this part of it. So far, they seem to be flying without any direction from you. So
I'll just keep an eye on the compass. Just make sure that we're still going the direction that we needed to.
Yeah. Right. So you had found this star you wanted to follow.
Okay.
Right. So you know the general direction you got to go. But of course, now you're going to have to wait till night to get another reading.
So at this height, are we starting to see like the atmosphere kind of thin out a little bit? And
yeah, well, the air is a little thinner, like I said. But you're not, it's only 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
And today, right now, you don't even see any clouds anywhere. So it's one of those odd experiences where you can't really tell where you're at. Or even without the wind, you wouldn't know you're even moving. Right? And certainly you wouldn't know you're moving looking at your bird because they don't flap anymore. They just got their wings stretched out. They'll just slightly tilt, and that will, then you'll just gain elevation and lose it, but you're traveling pretty steady.
okay. Go ahead and do that thing that you do when you stick your arm out the window.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up and kind of do the Titanic, arms to both sides, and just fly with the bird.
Yeah, you can do that, and you get that effect. It's pretty strong. You don't know this in game, but in real life, you're moving about 70 miles an hour. So if you remember standing up in a convertible at 105 on the way to,
Were we going that fast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were. So it's not quite that intense, but
Okay.
luckily your harness is well constructed, and so is the rigging that it's built on. So
Yeah. Now, we had kind of gotten the impression that it was going to take a couple of days of flying before we got to the
Isle of Penance.
Isle of Penance, right?
Well, 4.
4.
Yeah, 4 days and nights.
Okay.
Is what it said.
I'll keep an eye out for small islands or anything that we might be able to stop at.
Okay.
But for the most part, if we can see 150 miles in any direction,
He's tangled in one of the speakers.
then I don't really need to keep constant vigilance.
Yeah. I figure like once it gets around midday, we land and you can continue to scout potentially if we find something.
Yeah.
And that's a just in case. And then if you find something further away, that's doable. You come back, pick us up, and we move there. But because I don't know the endurance of these birds, and that's something I'm worried about. Is us, nightfall and them collapsing on us or whatnot.
I guess I've probably talked to my bird enough to know that they can fly for days, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, even as kids, you'd watch them out over the ocean making massive circles for forever until you got tired of watching them. They can stay out a long time. And know what you know about animals. I mean, it's not the only large bird that you've seen. It's just so much larger that it's silly to put them in the same category. But there's other large seabirds that would be about as big as you that you see from time to time, and they can fly. It seems like they never, ever land, and nobody's ever seen where they land.
Well, then make it midday of the second day or something is when we'll start worrying about that. If you think they can last multiple days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll just kind of see where we can land. If we can't find anywhere between now and then
Land and sea.
yeah.
As I will, I had prepared a telepathic bond. Is I'll use that when it looks like it's getting on towards the end of the day, and just entertain myself by talking with the bird.
Okay. Graham, so you're going to have to make a roll for me, a handle rock roll, your hero craft. Okay. So it's at a point a little after midday that yours spots something down in the ocean and goes to dive for it, but you're able to get her back under control. But you can tell it's an odd feeling, and this part's true for all of you. You do have an odd connection to these birds that isn't quite on the level where it would have a game effect like a telepathic bond, but you do have it's like people who've done a lot of work on their own cars. They've got a feeling for it based on the sounds and stuff. And you get that from yours, Graham, that it's she just wants to be swooping down and grabbing stuff, But she'll do as you say, and so she doesn't leave formation. But you can tell that's what's on her mind. Okay, as morning turns to midday, and midway gives to night, as amazing as this experience is, boredom softly knocks on the door. Since Cradle, so let's say it's about a couple hours after midday. You can't see Cradle anymore when you look back. So now it's nothing but ocean. So since the Cradle dropped from view, there's nothing to look at. There's nothing to focus your eyes on for some stretches besides each other. And even that is infrequent as the birds naturally take a formation that makes it difficult to see the others. I mean, sometimes they're just a little below, right off the wing, that sort of thing. So, but there is a lot of time where you can see things that are nice to look at. In the water below, you've seen massive pods of whales traveling just below the surface of the water, and then they'll surface to spout water up into the air, and sometimes they'll breach almost completely in shows of agility, which is surprising for creatures that big. And you see dolphins racing along at magnificent speeds as they engage in aerial acrobatics and general play. The other mind-blowing thing is schools of fish that you see. They completely beggar belief that it's possible for schools of fish to be that large. And there's some periods where you look down and you see this dark moving mass just under the water that stretches for miles. And it seems that only a god could count how many fish there are there. But even such sights eventually lose your interest. And by the time the sun begins its final descent beyond the horizon, you're increasingly preoccupied by a sore backside, among other things. Calluses will no doubt form, but for now, everywhere the harness touches that isn't protected by armor is beginning to chafe. and your back's doing that thing where it hurts no matter which way you align it. And worse, you feel as if the wind has scoured all the skin off your face and neck. So basically, you guys aren't, it's not possible probably for you guys to get sunburned, but you are windburned from flying at such speeds.
I was going to ask it. Would it be possible to pull that tarp over? And is it like a thick tarp?
It's really thick.
Okay, so it should buffer the wind, right?
It can enclose you completely if you want.
Yeah, that was my idea through most of the travel day in these early days after get bored looking at stuff is just enclose myself in there, cast light, and read that book.
Yeah, that's definitely something you can do.
Yeah, and then towards the end of the night do the telepathic bond just so I have something to talk with.
Right.
Okay.
My
My trip will be fine then.
I got a tarp in a book too, John.
You don't have light.
I do.
No.
All right. For their part, the rocks seem perfectly content and show no signs of physical fatigue whatsoever. And Rohan, yours, who's leading the formation, actually seems to have fallen asleep.
Okay.
And just is flying solely on instinct. So there's a brief moment in time when it has become too dark to see the water below and still too bright to see any stars, that a brief flash of fear bundles itself in your stomach, but then stars begin to blink into existence. And the sight of the ocean below in all of its size and majesty compares not at all with the endless star-filled sky. So no clouds. It's completely black now. So without a source of light, the only thing you can see is the stars up in the sky. All right. So it gets nighttime. You can see the endless stars in the sky, but you can't see in front of you or any other direction. Your bird's just barreling along at insane speeds. It gets kind of nerve-wracking, even though there's nothing in front of you. Once you can't see anymore, it gets really nerve-wracking, just thinking about, what if the bird smashes into a mountain, or what if her angle's just wrong and she barrels right into the ocean or whatever. But for their part, it doesn't seem to bother them, and they continue on flying through the night. What do you guys want to do when it gets nighttime?
This is the first day?
Yeah.
Still? Oh. But yeah, I'll do that telepathic bond. It gives me a little over an hour to talk with it. And so, just general questions at first, like, is it tired? Does it need to eat?
Okay. Unfortunately, telepathic bond, you cast it, doesn't work. Doesn't form a link.
Guess they're not that smart.
Yeah. They got to have intelligence of 3 for it to work. Theirs is 2.
I thought it was 6.
Well, that'd be even higher. So
You thought what was 6?
Yeah, it's intelligence 6 or higher. As just so that it's out
I
there.
don't know where you're seeing that. I'm looking at it right here, and it says...
Lesser telepathic bond?
Oh, lesser. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so anyway, the rest of you. So...
Could I get within 30 feet of somebody? Okay, so tomorrow night, one of you two.
just bug Rohan.
Yeah, it's got to be 30 feet to cast it, but then the link doesn't break.
Well, yeah.
So if he comes back within at any point in that time, I might get him.
I'm not going to be that far ahead of you guys.
Well, sure, more than 30 feet.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
It's just somebody to talk to.
The
man.
wingspans are going to be hard to overcome that 30 feet just in general.
Yeah, but I figure if get it going,
You can do a flyby.
yeah, pretty much.
It's going to be a mid-air collision.
Hey, the things you'll do for entertainment.
When the stars first start coming out, I'm going to try and make sure that we're on course.
Yeah, do your survival.
Let's see. That's when I don't have hotkey.
Yeah, so you're able to pick it out pretty easily, and you're going in the right direction.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that first of the night and at the end of the night, as the sun's starting to...
Yeah.
I'll also do. I'll have to get close to him to do it, but create food and water, because I could do it 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 levels. So, but
So what is it you're planning on doing?
Did we not bring any rations?
we did, but and I'm not using that spell slot right now. It's just create food and water. It creates enough food and water for 3 humans or 1 horse per level for 24 hours.
All right. So you can create the food and water, what, like right in front of...
It's the idea.
Where are you going to put it?
I'm going to try and get it like pretty much in their lap almost. Just not like it. So it says that it's not like, it's pretty bland, right? It's just nourishing.
Yeah.
So I figure like dried meat and like, hard biscuits or something.
Well, is it just putting it in one spot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a range. I mean, you'd have to pick who you're giving it to.
Yeah. Well, I figure I'll surprise Graham with it.
Oh, right. There also was a water jug in your boxes, by the way, that had
Hold
water
that
in
up
it.
when you need water.
Oh, okay. I will do it.
It's got a stopper in it, but each of you had a water jug.
Graham wasn't expecting it, so all the food just blows off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what would happen if you
Yeah,
did that.
we have rations for right now. This is just for entertainment purposes mainly. I didn't think about like, I've done some driving trips where they were 13 hours one way and then have to drive back home, and like the way down there might be all right sometimes, but like starting out you're just immediately bored, or at least I am.
I kind of want to try firing an arrow like up a little bit and then catching it as I go past it.
Yeah, you think it's some pretty weird stuff to
Yeah.
to entertain yourself, honestly.
How fast does an arrow travel?
I don't know, but I have a feeling that if
Probably
we're going
faster
70
than a
miles an
rock.
hour, we might catch up to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Shoot it.
arc it.
Oh, okay.
Just shoot it behind you, see if one of us can get hit by
Well, you're
it.
gonna have to do some serious math if you want to do it in one try, Justin.
Oh, it wouldn't be one try. It would be... I've got a quiver with unlimited arrows. I can just keep firing.
Brandon, for Graham's part,
150
he'll
miles
be
an hour.
getting to know
so-
Bloodtooth a little bit better. But I need some information of how things went in the past. Like when I go to bed and I unbuckle all my gear when we were in the village. Is he happy about that sort of thing?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
When I pick him back up in the morning, is he still able to communicate with me when he's not physically on my person, or has he tried?
Yeah, well, he hasn't that you remember, but he can because you hear him grumbling even when you don't have it on, right? But it's not like it has a range. So, even in the home of the heroes, if you left him in your room and went downstairs, you wouldn't be able to hear that grumbling anymore.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem unhappy about that. What it seems even now is that it's bored. Right?
You and me both, Bloodtooth.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't think the same way as you. So it's starting to think that, maybe you ought to kill this bird just to see if you can, right? That's the way it comes across. It's like, I wonder if you could get through all the feathers and stuff. Like the musings of a bored person. No.
Man, its kidneys got to be...
Yeah.
Look at it. It's flashing over there. I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. So then he's like, well, whatever. Basically, it's just a thought.
Are you hungry or something? Why do you have such a bad temper?
I just need to be put into use. That's when I feel at peace. It's when I'm being used in a battle or a murder.
Well, I think we're rapidly drawing near that. You just gotta hold on. It helps me when I think about really tall trees.
Yeah. So
Try it.
yeah. Well, it says I'll try it.
What's a tree? Does it have a kidney?
Yeah.
No, my sneak attack doesn't work against
Yeah.
plants, I don't think.
Doesn't
Plant creatures.
seem like it'd be worth it to stab a tree. I need to stab into flesh. I need to feel the life force. I need to feel the blood wash over me.
Were you always a dagger?
No. No. I've been other forms before, but I hate it. I don't want to be. So you get like this there's this little edge of desperation when you say that, for whatever that means. Like, as soon as you said that, he got real defensive. It's like, no, I've been other weapons, but I don't want to be, and I don't like it.
What's wrong with other weapons? I found the bow useful. I mean...
Oh, don't talk about bows.
Oh.
Now you get, like, revulsion. Right. But he does say, well, your companion, he's pretty good with a bow.
Rohan, yeah, he is very good.
I mean, for an inferior weapon.
Well, here there,
If
Blood
you
Tooth.
stick an arrow in someone, you've stuck an arrow into him. But if you stick me into him,
I can sneak attack with an arrow from
You
30
better-
feet.
you better not pick up a bow and arrow.
I didn't bring one. I didn't even bring javelins. It's just me and you.
If you need to attack someone who's far away, just throw me.
But then I gotta go get you.
Yeah, it's worth it.
All right, I'll try it. But if I die again, well, I guess I'm kind of used to that.
Maybe it won't be as hard as you think to pick me back up.
What do you mean by that? In game terms.
Easily defined rule set.
I don't want to talk anymore.
All right, night-night, Bloodtooth. Don't stab the rock.
Well, luckily for you and everybody else, I'm not in control of myself. Not you, though. I don't mean that. I wouldn't stab you.
Unless you used a bow.
Yeah, so you just get, it's a conversation that has words in your mind, but also the feelings and emotions that would be conveyed by words in a normal conversation come through as well. So you get from your conversation with them, with it, that it's, you don't get a sense of evil, right? Like, it's not that it wants to kill and loves killing for its sake.
It's a horrible purpose, but not necessarily a malicious one.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, exactly. But it was created for a purpose, and it doesn't feel right if it's not carrying out that purpose. You also get like this extreme defensiveness comes through when you talk about being a different form. So.
Yeah, I know I didn't like being the spear. But yeah, I'll try throughout the journey to engage him and cheer him up. But if I get the bad vibes, then I'll quickly back down because I just want, everybody to be happy.
Right. Well, you do get a sense that he likes you. You do get that sense. Although what that means from an object, who knows? Because he'll talk about the battles you've been in where you've used it, and he's got a real proud tone when he talks about that. Let's see what else was happening. Oh, okay. Yeah, so then you do your best to get comfortable, which you can get quite comfortable. Because that chair, it sort of lays flat, and with the tarp and whatever, you can actually block the wind out almost completely. And then beneath you, when you're in that state, when you've blocked out all the starlight or whatever, and you got this tarp over you, the heat from the bird, it creates this nice little cocoon for you, and you can feel the beating of the heart. It sort of thrums. After things quiet down a bit, after enough time has passed that you begin to start picking out the sounds that you normally would miss. You can hear the beating heart and the gentle whooshing of the wind that washes over its wings. So you can actually get a pretty decent night's sleep. But you still have to be harnessed, which continues to chafe. Now, if you want to take your harness off, then just say so. But I'm just going to assume you keep it on, because if you take it off, you'll die. Probably. 1,000 D6 damage or something if you fell.
Did everybody record their potion belts down? They can carry 6. That could be readied as a free action.
Yeah, your bandoliers.
Yeah. I couldn't find the bandoliers specifically, but they had an item called a potion belt, which was the same.
Yeah, I think the bandoliers in the arms and equipment bag.
Yeah, I was looking through it, but
that you didn't find it in
I couldn't find it. They did have a bandolier for something. I can't remember what it was, but
there was one for daggers?
Yeah, there we go. That's what
right.
it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so the next day you wake up and you feel a marked change in the wind. So now you're rocks take a different approach, though they don't seem to require any more effort on their part. But like the wind's blowing hard, and it seems to be blowing against you, and so it slows them down. So what they start doing is they'll sharply bank and swoop, and they'll hit another current and fly back up and continue in the same general forwardly direction. But there's a lot of movement up and down, sometimes sideways as they're moving. Graham, yours spins all the way around, right? It's not necessary, but that's your bird's style. And that it's all really exhilarating, but that exhilaration is very quickly replaced by a rumbling, sour stomach. So everybody will need to make a fortitude save. All right. So Fenrith, yeah, you got to puke. So you throw up, and then once you've done that, it's like the floodgates are open. It seems like you cannot stop. Like, maybe an hour will go by of you feeling like you need to, and then you will, and you feel a momentary relief, and then it's back again. Right. So now, for the rest of today, you are nauseated. So you can look up what that effect is, but the rest of you feel like, oh, I'm about to lose it, but then you grit your teeth, and then it goes away, and then it comes back in flashes here and there, but by midday, it's old hat for you. You don't even really have that problem anymore. So you remember the old timers talking about getting sick out on the boats, and you guys have been out on boats, but not. You've been out, where shore's still in sight, and on days when it was relatively calm, and you remember getting a little feeling, but none of you ever had to lean over. But it's sort of like that feeling you got then, and but it's worse because when these rocks, they'll dive, and it's just such an extreme speed, and then suddenly they shoot back upwards again, and the changes just make it feels like whatever's in your stomach is going from your throat, back down, up and down. So it's pretty difficult, but by midday, the rest of you don't have as much a problem with it. But that's the way they fly today. They've got to constantly do that because the wind is blowing right in your teeth, And with this, it seems like, judging by the water below and how fast it's going, it actually seems like you're going faster today than you were. And not much effort seems to be expended on the rocks part. They're still not flapping their wings. They're just tilting them and angling them and banking a little more often. But yeah, so Fenrith, you're unable to attack, cast spells, concentrate on spells, or do anything else requiring attention. The only action you can take is a single move action per turn. So remember that if something occurs.
Yeah.
But that's what it's like for today. And Rohan, you notice that there are a lot of clouds up in the sky, cirrus clouds way up. Right. And just based on your survival knowledge, generally that means that weather's going to be clear, but sometimes it means a cyclone is approaching. So
Weather's going to be clear, guys.
So you look up and see those, and you know what it means. But unfortunately, you also notice that the temperature has dropped a few degrees. So based on your survival, you estimate that tomorrow, or maybe even late this night, you guys will be heading into a pretty vicious storm.
Cyclone in the dark. That might be kind of fun. Break up this monotony.
Have we seen... Do I see any kind of sign of land or anything like that we
No.
might be able to take shelter at?
No, as a matter of fact, also, for most of yesterday, until a little afternoon, you were still seeing like other birds.
Okay.
But you haven't seen any since then.
So I'm going to try and get my bird to go as high as it can.
Okay.
See if we can start getting up to where we might be over the top of some of the clouds.
Well, what is your What is your skill, your hero craft skill, flybird skill?
Same as everyone else. I think it's a 10.
10
Or plus 13 with my wisdom.
plus 13. All right, so it's easy enough to tell, to express that you want her to start gaining altitude. And she does, but she starts expending a lot of effort to do so. Right, so now she's moving her wings a lot more and stuff like that. And she'll take you up, but it's not very long at all of her headed in this upward direction that it starts to get hard for you to breathe.
Okay.
Right, and she's not comfortable up here either. And when you look at those clouds, you're not even. I mean,
Still much higher than...
they're probably 60,000 feet above the sea.
Okay.
So.
All right. I'll take it back down to the level the other rocks were at.
Okay. Yeah. So she gently lowers back, takes her position back in the lead again. But that's the only thing going on right now. The rest of you don't. Does anybody else have survival?
Mm-mm.
I have a rank in it.
Roll a survival.
Yeah.
This is everything Rohan taught me.
Yeah, you can predict that you're heading into a pretty good storm too. Actually, with that roll, you think all the signs point to we're heading towards a storm.
The last session you mentioned that we had some memories of hand signals or that there were flags that we had used. Were those part of the gear that was in the...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's different colored flags.
Am I able to remember?
Yeah, you can try.
Yeah, I'll try to communicate that I see that storm. Of course, I don't know if Rohan or what he knows, but so I'll signal to him and everybody else that there's a storm ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if I see Graham doing that, I guess I'll return the affirmative, whatever that would be.
Yeah.
I see him.
Yeah,
signaling.
so he pulls out these flags and stuff, and you see him, and you just know you got what he's saying. It's one of those weird things that you don't know how you know, but you're like, oh, okay, I get it. A storm's coming, and you remember that because how large these birds are and how far away you might be and how some might be below you, the system was that one person messages, everybody else messages as well, right? Just so that everybody can see. But it's in short order. Everybody but Fenrith has been told that a storm is coming, and he just can't. He can't pay attention. He can't focus because he keeps throwing up. So there's a bucket for the purpose of expelling waste of every sort, and that's what he's doing, just sitting there hurling into a bucket.
Yeah. I don't know. It
Now
might be
it's
kind
starting to creak his ribs. It's like,
Yeah. Do I notice any of that, or is it just too
yeah,
far away?
You can't really pick out the.
Yeah.
What you see is that he's sitting down and he's it looks
Hunkered.
like he might just be leaning forward watching or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Or nodding off.
Yeah.
He's sleeping.
Well, yeah. He hasn't really messed with me, so
Yeah.
yeah. Probably for the best. Just leave him alone.
But you've seen him throwing up before throughout the day. Just right now when you're doing the flags, he just seems like he's paying attention to something else. So.
Okay. Well, yeah. Like if I had noticed him throwing up, I'd do like a check on him every so often, make sure he's fine. I expect that we have memories of probably early training with these and it being a common thing.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, as I was thinking about it and checking over my notes, you guys know the fishermen do it too, because they can't, sometimes they'll be far enough away they can't shout, and so they'll wave the flags. And there's a school over here or whatever, or I see, a dragon approaching, that sort of thing. So it's not an alien system to you, but there are differences between yours and the fishermen because you've got more dimensions to worry about.
Yeah.
So.
Let's hope we don't have to use the dragon one.
Nah. That would be kind of troubling because, while I'm sure you were joking about the fisherman with the dragon,
Right.
There's probably memory somewhere of a signal for dragon attack or like a flight of dragons ahead.
Yeah. All right. So time continues on throughout the day, and you all start to feel the temperatures dropping, and so now you're all aware, and by this time Fenrith has gotten the message: the storm's coming, and he feels that it's getting colder too. So the wind's changing back and forth, and your birds continue resolutely forward, and you start to approach. It's hard to make out at first. It's like you can see the water and you can see the blue sky, and then it's like a wall of black up ahead, and it stretches infinitely in all directions seemingly. But you're approaching that. Although looking ahead, you can't see rain falling from it yet, but they're so black that it's about to happen. And this is as it gets towards nightfall. So as Rohan and Graham's survival rolls predicted, you'll be running into it, sometime after midnight.
All right.
And you still haven't seen land.
Guess I'll ready my canvas again and bust out the compass because I might need to steer by myself. So
yeah. Okay. All right. So then as night begins to fall, everybody roll a spot into the tower.
And we get +4 to that because we
Yeah.
have the goggles on?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay. So Rohan, you're flying along, you're in the lead, and you're looking at this storm, and it's going to be bad. And it's getting on towards dark. And you just happen to glance down at the water, and then you look away, but then you snap back and you see it's dark. So at first it looks like really choppy waves, but then you clearly see massive, unbelievably massive tentacles popping up out of the water. Like you guys have eaten octopus and squid, and you know what they look like. That's what they look like, but they're just impossibly huge, like timbers, like whole timbers in the roiling ocean. And Fenrith, you got your head between your knees and you're puking in this bucket, and you finish and you turn aside to spit or whatever, and that you see that too. Right? Then you can see it for only a matter of about 10 seconds, and then either it's too dark now or it slipped back beneath the waves, but you know what you saw. These suction cups were, on these were as big as one of you. And, then it's gone. Then you don't see it. And then night falls. All right. So, you guys continue on, and it becomes night, but now it's hard to see the stars because of the clouds you're flying into. So, you're starting to hear the rumble of thunder, and periodically the sky will light up with lightning as it arcs between the water and the clouds. So what do you want to do?
Well, I kind of want to search my memories to see if any of the other heroes had faced similar circumstances.
None that are coming to the forefront of your mind.
Okay.
But storms are they're not uncommon.
Do I get any sense from the bird that it's uncomfortable doing this?
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Does it want to turn around?
Yeah, that's the sense you're getting. Like, it doesn't know where land is out here, but it knows where land is back there. But it's not like it's trying to and you're fighting it. That's just like the apprehension you're feeling, right?
Okay.
I guess I'll pull out my compass and try to maintain the course that Rohan set through this storm.
All right.
Do we have any kind of flag signals for like asking questions about should we turn around?
Yeah, you can do pretty rudimentary conversation with it.
Okay. I'll kind of turn around and give some signals, see if the others want to turn back for now till the storm passes.
All right, what say you? I mean, it's blowing in your direction,
Yeah.
the storm.
So it would be chasing us if we do turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could try to skirt around it, but how many hundreds of miles wide is this?
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I'll signal back that I don't think we have time, essentially. Only way through this is through the storm. Stay the course, Justin.
So can I do a survival check to see if I can kind of get an idea of how intense the storm is going to be and how long it would take us to move through it at a decent speed?
Well, go ahead and make a survival.
Ouch.
So, with that roll, you can predict that this is a day's sort of thing. At least it's going to last for more than a day.
Okay.
Now, as far as like its intensity, you've seen the intensity before. You were just on land, but these massive black clouds have rolled over the village before, and goats get killed by lightning, and homes get washed away, even the ones on stilts. It's pretty intense. Trees get flattened out in the bowl and in the village. Crops in the gardens totally destroyed. So,
Okay.
and in those there was also hail. Although with your survival, you're not too concerned about that at this point, because it's still, although it is possible.
Okay. I guess we'll push forward then.
Okay. All right. So then full dark falls, and it's completely dark now. There's no light. There's no stars you can see. There's no moon. And then left to their own, these birds, knowing that there's no way they're going to get above this, they're going to angle to try and be under the clouds so they can at least still see something, right?
Okay.
With their night vision. But they'll do what you say. So, but that's what you feel like they want to do, is start to drop a little bit,
I'll try and keep it far enough above the water that we don't get within range of those massive tentacles.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking on thousands of feet sort of level,
Okay.
Right, but only thing that tells you that is happening is you can feel on your harness as you lean forward, as the birds lean forward and they start. Now you're completely blind, and then from time to time, lightning will flash and you'll be able to see everything, and then suddenly it's gone, and then thunder booms right in your ear. So, were you going to be under your tarps, all of you?
Yes.
If I can.
Okay.
No.
All right. You're going to be exposed to the weather. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then, like walking into a waterfall, the rain starts hitting you. There's no rain, and then suddenly there is, and it's falling down in sheets, and you can hear it, those of you under your tarps. And it's literally like you set up a tent underneath a waterfall. It's fallen so hard this tarp has sort of a rigid structure to it. It's got this sort of like skeletonized, you don't know what it's made out of, but something that keeps it in a general domish shape. And so this rain is just slamming into it with extreme force, right? And then through that tarp, you can see still the lightning when it flashes, and then you hear the thunder. And then what's worse is you're in there, and then suddenly you feel like you're buffeted way off in one direction, way off in another. And there's no real way you can control where you go, but you do know you've got to try to keep your bird from panicking. So that'll take a roll from each of you to keep your bird from panicking and doing who knows what. You can feel it, that they're starting to get nervous. Okay. So, you've got your methods. There actually is sort of reins for these, and you've got like sounds you can make, even though it's too loud for them to hear, you think. But there are ways that you can communicate, and you control the bird. So you can feel they're starting to panic, but you can't tell the difference between, is my bird freaking out and trying to turn around, or is the wind just blown us, a mile to the east or whatever, right? So it's hard. So you're basically just trying to give, say, comforting motions or calm down and steady the course. You don't know if that's working or not. You're all pretty sure that none of you have turned around, but you can't be sure, did they just turn perfectly north, or did they change direction? There's just no way to tell. And Ron, it's the same for you. You can't make anything out, because even though you're out exposed to the weather, you don't see anything.
Yeah.
Right? So rain slamming into you and lightning. And so you're trying to get, your bird. But it becomes clear almost immediately as you fly into this that it's out of your control, right? As far as where you go. Trying to keep them calm, you can keep working on that.
I'm still going to be trying to, do my duty and find any kind of a land that we might take shelter on, or so as lightning flashes, I'll be, frantically scanning for anything, trying to keep my goggles clear of rain. And
yeah, okay.
The fact that the rocks would even fly into this, is that somewhat encouraging because they balked at flying into the land, at least as far as they go,
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't take them out of the sky. Hopefully. Did anybody else name their rock? I did. I haven't thought of one yet. Was there any in the memories?
Nope.
Yeah.
Try to come up with one.
I just went with the avalanche rock base, or stone stuff because I'm hero of the stone. Figure it's an easy call.
Graham's rock, spelled rock wrong. Like I did your in real life.
Well, you never know. We could have been riding boulders through the sky.
Like to think that people are like, rock riders, that sounds metal.
I like the idea that we hopped on boulders and then got catapulted.
All right. So then, as you carry on, and the rain is slamming down onto your tarps, and it just drowns out all sound, and it's not. Now you don't even hear like an individual raindrop. You just hear this steady sound of rain slamming into you, and you can feel underneath you just drastic changes in direction and speed. And then the only thing you can see is the lightning. It's bright enough that you can see it through your tarp. And then the thunder is the only thing that you can hear besides the rain. And, there's the tricks that you learn as kids, where you see the lightning and then you count, and that's how close it is. And this is like just right on top of you, this lightning. Now you've got to try and calm your rock again. And Rohan, you, when the lightning flashes, you don't see land or anything, but you do see that, whereas before you could see Casimir, you can't now in the lightning.
Okay.
Just something to think about. But you being exposed, you take 6 subdual damage so far.
Plus 66 from a lightning bolt.
Actually, I have protection against that with my ring.
Ah.
It'll just be a massive bruise when the storm clears and we land.
At least we haven't hit the hail yet.
Well, it's probably super wind burn, and then the rain's just washing off all of that dead skin.
Hey, Fenrith, how do you only have a +9 on your hero craft?
Because I only get 3 points per.
We got the base max.
Yeah,
So we should have 10
10.
ranks and then plus your modifier.
Which is charisma or wisdom, so probably wisdom in your case.
As all I did was reassigned the ones that I had put into like ride and things like that.
Yeah, I think he's right. We did have the max ranks, but now we have to buy them.
Yeah, now you'll have to spend skill points on it.
Now I have the lowest roll.
Well, don't worry. We could be lost together. What are the chances those tentacles are attached to like a really hot merchick?
Slim.
Not that you'd want a tentacled merchick.
All right, so those are your rolls.
Depends on who you are.
Listen, Bluebeard.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to roll percentages to see who gets struck by lightning.
Do we get to roll them ourselves? Aw, come on.
Okay. Sure, go ahead. There's a 20% chance you get struck by lightning.
Oh, what did I get? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Go ahead and roll, Fenrith.
Where's the
Right-click the D10.
Yeah, right-click the D10, and there's a percentage button there.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, so, lightning's slamming down out of the sky and thunder's roaring in your ears. You're trying to calm your animals. Nobody's been hit so far. Or I should say, nobody's bird has been hit so far, which is the more likely thing, except for in Rohan's case.
We're technically grounded to the bird, right? So if we get struck, we should be fine.
Yeah.
All this nice metal armor that me and John are wearing too.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's right. Mithril's not conductive, though, right?
Probably not. It has to be one of its mystical properties.
Yeah. Whereas, like, was it adamantine is super conductive?
Yeah. What is mithril exactly? Isn't it like a...
What, it's like some sort of, silver and...
Well, it originates from Tolkien, right?
Yeah, I think in this world it's just a...
Alloyed silver.
Yeah, it's a different type of silver. It's a better silver. I don't think they make it. I think it's actually mined.
They mine it, yeah.
That or that mine that Raziel's town found way back in the day was a real mystery.
It isn't. That'd be funny. It's an alloyed metal. He found a mine of it. Who was doing this? Ancient dwarves. Then they buried it here.
And then they put it back here.
There's some of those. What was it? There's a couple games I've played where you do something and then it changes the ores in the world. So it could have been something like that.
All right, so some hours go by, you think. I mean, it's hard to tell. And this is pretty constant, this feeling of being buffeted this way and that way. A couple of times you think you hear your birds giving their cries, which they don't do often. And the lightning and the thunder continues on. So far, nobody's been hit. Let's see. So then what you gather to be probably just before sunrise, let's do another 20%.
Close.
Okay. All right. And then that'll be another 8 damage, Rohan, subdual.
Okay.
Get your tarp on, you maniac. You're like Lieutenant Dan. You're out there challenging the elements themselves.
Such hubris.
Screaming at the storm. You and me.
Okay. And then you can actually, it gets to a point where when you peek out, and for you, Ron, you can kind of see some stuff.
Okay.
So you know it's light out. You're just barely getting it. Right. And it looks to you now like you're just flying through a sheet of water. You can't see your companions anymore.
Okay.
All right. And then a couple more hours go by, and the storm continues in its ferocity. Try to calm your birds again.
Oh, okay.
Kind of disappointed there's no dice physics. I careened with, was it yours? Yellow dice?
Didn't hit. That's green.
Yeah, I'm yellow, yeah. Where they bounced off each other. Yeah.
But yeah, I would have liked that.
Yellow dice for a yellow belly. But can you have a brave rogue, I wonder? I don't think so.
I think you
Brave rogue's a dead rogue.
Yeah.
Very
So
well
you've
said.
been pretty brave 3 or 4 times.
And look what happened, yeah.
I was unwittingly brave. I was unwillingly brave.
So if you think about it, every rogue is the bravest after the danger is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've wanted to make a Link rogue get to use magic device and then...
All right. So time goes on, and you're hunkered down and just waiting for it to pass. And you do your best to calm your animal. It's difficult to tell if you're having any effect or not. The strong changes of direction and elevation, those continue on. Thunder and lightning, those continue on as well. Although thus far you haven't been hit. You can only hope that the same is true of your companions. So this goes on this way for the whole rest of that day. And then suddenly you break out of the wall of rain into a spookily bright, clear, sunshiny day.
Now we're dazzled.
It's for you guys under your tarp, you can see the light, so you've got time to, but yeah, Rohan's like, He's completely soaked through.
Can you make that face again?
Yeah. You find out. Let's see. Here's how it worked out. Graham, your rock is actually, her talons are actually skimming the water from time to time. That's how low you are. And then Casimir's, yours is not much higher. You're actually, well, you don't know. You know that Casimir's directly above you. Like if the bird poops. What's going on? No, really, you could, if you weren't tied to your harness, you could jump high enough to grab one of her talons. Right?
Tooth's like, weak spot.
So, I mean, your bird notices that right away, and so does his. So they give a cry, and then, they start to split up. Rohan's is so high above you that you just barely see a dot in the sky, right? And nobody can see Fenrith. So Fenrith, you come out of this, same story. You're a couple 100 feet off the water, but you come out of it and you're just flying along. Nice calm ocean in front of you, blue sky, kind of warm, but you don't see any of your companions.
All right. Am I still sick?
Oh yeah, good point. Make a fortitude save.
We're also probably all fatigued having to go through that storm. But your companions are dead, John. You're going to have to go on alone.
You started out so optimistic on this
Yeah,
journey.
you're still sick.
Oh,
so you're fatigued. You're all fatigued. So yeah, you're feeling terrible.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it today.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I probably won't even open that tarp up.
Well, I mean, this is a situation where it's so like you do get an action every turn. So I mean, you can do stuff.
Well,
it's just difficult, but you do look around and you see...
have a brand new setting, a horrible storm, and I've been sick for what's going to be coming up to 2 days at this point.
Yeah.
And I really don't. Personally, myself, I wouldn't care. Right? Just be like, it is what it is at this point.
Well, I think, if that's the way you want to play it, that's your character.
If you can't have an action that can cast a spell, then what is the point of living?
Yeah.
Well, this is probably sicker than I've ever been at this point.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't get seasick, but I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And just from the people that I've seen have that issue, they wouldn't care. Yeah.
Well, you're separated from your companions, and you could be flying in the complete opposite direction.
That's if I even look out of that tarp.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what do the rest of you want to do?
Well, I suppose we notice, whoever would notice that Fenrith is not amongst us would probably start the signal chain. I expect missing rider or missing bird.
So kind of signal to go east-west or north-south type of thing. You know, like me and Graham will split up and go 2 different directions.
Okay.
And kind of circle back around and meet up and get back on track where Rohan's going.
Okay.
And then you just keep going? Or do you want to reverse completely and kind of head back the way we've come?
Yeah, I think I'll want to circle back to make sure he didn't get knocked down into the ocean.
Okay.
All right.
While they kind of go out east and west and...
Okay.
It's all different hand signals.
All right. So what we'll do is... Okay. You're going east, you're going west, and you're circling back.
Well, the east and west is based on...
Right.
So if we're just traveling north, I guess is what that would be. I don't know which direction we're actually traveling, so it's just...
Yeah.
Well, we have a storm wall to our rear, so one person's going to go up along it, and the other person's going to go down along it. And
you were going south when you left. So, yeah, east and west, that covers it.
Okay.
And Rohan will circle about back north. All right. Let me make some rolls here. So you can see for such a long way once you get back up to altitude and you don't see him yet.
One of us might get lucky and find like a trail of puke in the water.
Floating on the surface. Yeah.
There's some sort of scum on the surface of the ocean.
Wait, I recognize that stench. That's conjured food
There's
and
a-
water.
There's birds trapped in it like an oil spill.
Overturned floating whales and pods of dolphins.
It's just
They've
creating
never
food.
had any contact with humanoids before,
Brought all
so
these
it's all
diseases.
toxic. Yeah.
Uh,
All right, so Ron, you don't see. Yeah, roll a spot. Everybody put a spot in the tower except Fenrith.
With the +4.
Yeah.
Always. Oops.
I still don't know if that modifier.
don't count
is-
that roll. Or actually, I guess add +4 to it. No, it's like it wasn't in the tower.
That's all right.
Okay, so yeah, it is showing my.
I kind
My
of messed
full
up
bonus.
mine as well. I don't know what I was doing.
There you go.
Okay. Ron, you don't see anything. Just endless ocean. And you can see the storm back that direction, but you're not in danger of catching up to it.
Okay.
Casimir, you don't see anything either.
All right.
Depends on how long you guys want to do this. Like how long you want to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to lose.
You came out early morning,
Yeah.
so
Well, we have such that incredible line of sight that I wouldn't want to travel far enough to lose more people.
So 100.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Easy enough. So you're going for a few hours, couple hours. And Rowan, you notice, Casimir, you notice as well that your birds are actually really tired. But they soldier on. They're not having luck catching wind going in this direction. I mean, some, but they got to do more work. Graham, with your spot, you're going that direction, and you are sure you see something, right? Because all you can see is blue and clouds up in that direction too. They're not as angry and dark, but it's a different system of clouds. But you can see up there, and then you're pretty sure you see a flash of, what did I say yours was? Orange,
Yeah.
orange, from up ahead.
Bust out the mirror and
Fenrith,
Yeah.
you feel a massive, like, teeth-shattering impact underneath you, and your bird screams out, like, so loud it hurts your ears, and you definitely get panic from it. Roll your control my bird.
I'm changing the name of HeroCraft to Control My Bird.
Okay.
well, it does more than just that.
All right, so
So if with that happening, I'll pull that tarp back.
you can only do one thing. Literally. Like on that action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward here. Is,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time you get to act.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's what happens. You felt this massive impact, and it almost like turned you up sideways. So you feel that pressure of leaning on your harness like that. So you reach forward and you grab the reins, and you're like trying to soothe it. And then you feel another impact. Do a reflex save.
Oh.
All right. Here's what happens to you. So you tried to soothe it. Now you pull up the tarp just in time to see a wall of trees that you're slamming into. You look ahead. You see your bird's. She's dazed, right? She's not paying attention, and you're hurling fast as a bullet towards these trees. So that's what starts to hit you is tree branches. So here's what we'll do. So go in this speed.
That's what happens when you sleep fly.
All right, so the first one hits you. Let me see if I can do that. No, I can't. I'll just have to add it up. I didn't build a tree creature to do an attack on you, so let me just roll them. Right, so it quickly becomes impossible for you to differentiate one smack of a tree from another. And this is not like the tippy edges. I mean, this is full branches. You can hear them snapping and trees falling down. You hear your rock's bird, her right wing break, right? You can see feathers going everywhere as you hurl through these trees. So whole branches as thick as your waist are slamming into you at such a speed that you break through them and continue on. And in total, you take 62 damage. Not at once, so it's not massive damage, but in total. I'll put it on there. And because your nightmare is not over. On
will be soon.
The last one, you feel a tear and a snap as your harness is torn asunder. Your bird thankfully comes to a stop, but you go hurtling forward. And I'll let you make a reflex save to catch a tree. Okay. So you slam into a tree, and just before... Oh, I didn't put it in there. Yeah, just before you lose consciousness, you got it like right across your chest with your arms over it. You're balanced in such a way that you're conscious just long enough to realize you're not going to fall before blackness takes you. Yeah, blackness takes you. Roll. Okay. Here, let me do it. Okay. What do the rest of you do?
Well, I saw that glint.
Yeah,
of
you saw
orange.
some orange.
Well, yeah, I'll start to do some long range signaling, like via mirrors or whatever we had in the kit, to see if I can get any of these guys' attention, and then I'll order my bird to head towards it.
Okay. Rohan and Casimir roll spot check.
Into the tower.
No.
Oh. That
Okay.
was almost 14. Do you see
Rohan, you spot the mirror.
Okay.
You look back in that direction, and you can see the flash from Graham.
Okay.
Now, as it works out, you're closer to each of these than they are to each other.
Yeah. So I'll pass that signal on to Casimir. So
All right.
I'll kind of bank in his direction and signal as I'm making the wide turn back around.
Okay. All right. So Casimir, another spot then for you. Good enough. Yeah. You look back and you see, you can see, it's not a message, it's just a flash, right? That says, that he's found something. So.
Yeah, so I'll bank and start following Rohan.
Okay. And Graham, you're headed in that direction. Your bird begins to speed up without you saying so.
Perfect.
Okay. And you can tell now looking at her, she's like she's so tired, she's so worn out. So, maybe she thinks there's something to land on up there. And it seems there is, because as you approach, as you get closer, you see an island, a small island, really small. But you see it. So now that you're getting closer, that cloud system seems to have been moving further away, and with the distance you can see, now you're starting to see gray and green and sand up ahead.
Is
but
there
no sign of
the orange?
Yeah, no sign of Fenrith.
Well, have I been headed in the same direction as where I thought I saw that?
Yeah,
before.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll try to get my bird to land, but I don't have high hopes, considering how much space it seemed they needed on our home.
Right. So as you get closer,
Might be able to.
you see that.
A loading screen.
That's the island you're seeing.
With the ship, even?
Yeah.
Nice.
So you can see that it has a small beach area, and that's the only place you see that's suitable to try and set down. So you'd have to take an angle at it and come at it from, that direction.
Yeah, that's what I'll try.
Okay. Yeah, let's do a flight check then. Yeah, easy enough. I mean, there's really not much for you to do. The bird, they can actually land on a spot. They just generally don't.
Oh, okay.
Because generally this bird has a average mobility. Yours all have good, so they can even hover. Yours is just way too tight. And that's sort of what it does. It just slowly lands, sort of like a helicopter would. Right there on the sand, she sets down.
Well, once we get settled, I'll try to direct her to move, further in.
Okay.
To give them some room, and then I'll get that signal mirror going.
All right. Yeah, so let me put a token to give you an idea of the scale. So, I better quit it. Okay. So, all right, can you see that?
Yeah.
That'll give you an idea of the scale. It's actually a little bigger. There we go. So that's about where you set down. So your bird would be like so. This isn't for movement or grid purposes, just to give you an idea of the scale of the size. Yeah, so you sit down there and you coax her to move up out of the way, and she seems to want to go up towards those right to that cliff edge there, where those cliffs start, because it sort of overhangs and it makes sort of a hollow.
Okay. Yeah, that would work.
But when she gets there, that's the end for her. That's where she collapses. She's not dead. She's still breathing, but exhaustion has finally taken her. And so she doesn't even do the sleeping that birds normally do. She just lays down, right? Mm-hmm. On her stomach there, on her belly. And that's where you come to a stop. And then Rohan and Casimir, you'll be along about an hour and a half later. But well before you get there, you see the island. So everybody can see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so well before you get there, you see that. And you can make out the black feathers of... did you name your rock?
No, not yet.
Okay, Graham's rock. You can make it out just as you see her walking up the beach a little bit, out of sight.
When we start getting close to the island, I'll see if my rock will hunt once we start getting, where it's about time to start landing, see if there's any sort of schools of dolphins or shark or anything like that, and let it see if it wants to pick one up and carry it inland.
Right. You do see plenty of that, but she, it's like she'll do it if you make her. She doesn't feel inclined to. She's too tired.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's up to you. If you want her to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I will. They're going to need food. Better do it while they can still fly.
Okay. So she pulls up a dolphin.
Okay.
Yeah, she swoops down and snatches a dolphin right out of the air.
That's what they get for being whimsical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
You can hear it making its sounds, but all right, and then you can come to a landing. And Rohan, anything before you land?
You said this was a fairly small island, right?
Yeah, pretty small.
As we come down,
like you can see all of it.
I kind of want to do like a banking incline circle.
Okay.
As we go over, so I can do one pass over the island.
Okay.
See if I can notice any potential threats or anything like that.
So roll a spot then.
Ouch.
All right. So you do your, circle over this before you come around back for a landing. You don't see anything that draws specific interest, except for that while you're flying over those trees, you can see absolutely no ground. They're so thick. And their leaves are so broad. And they're the sort of trees that grow in Cradle, not the ones in the bowl, which are more like coniferous or, but like palm trees sort of, or tropical sort of trees.
Okay.
And they're so thick you can't see ground. But you do see plenty of birds flying around, like an awful lot of them. The normal seabirds, the white seagulls and gray seagulls, but you also see a lot of wildly colored birds, and there's lots of birds on Cradle too, but you're certain you see a bunch you've never seen before. And then those of you who land on the beach, you see there's like the tide's coming in and there's crabs everywhere on the beach. Seagulls coming down and scooping them up. It's not something that it's something, a scene right out of back home. But yeah, so you don't see anything. You want to land?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's no problem for you all to land. And when you do, all the birds just naturally walk over close to Graham's. And Casimir, yours doesn't even eat before she, lays down, goes to sleep.
Hopefully he'll be there for them when they wake up. I'm pretty hungry too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could eat it.
Yeah.
So there you are. Okay, so what would you like to do?
Well, I think it's Graham will just wait here. He'll be signaling up until he sees whoever arrived next. Was it Rohan?
No, Casimir.
Casimir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Rohan was circling the island.
Gotcha. And then when he lands and gets settled, I will probably be quite concerned with Fenrith. And now that I can actually communicate, I saw Fenrith's colors by this island, but then I lost sight of him. I think he's here somewhere.
Well, I think either way, if he is on this island, we're on foot for now. They're exhausted, and I'll kind of pat Avalanche.
He could be hurt.
He very well might be, but we're going to have to go on foot if he is here.
Do you think we should wait for Rohan?
Yeah.
That circling son of a gun.
So after
The flag's out.
I land, I'm guessing they'll ask if we want to go inland.
I saw Fenrith's bird by this island. I think he's on here somewhere.
And I'll say, I circled over the entire island. I didn't see any sign of him or his bird.
So, what do you want to do, Rohan?
Well, we could at least explore the island a little bit and see what else is here. Get some provisions.
We're pretty tired ourselves, though.
Yeah.
We're fatigued.
Yeah, you're all fatigued.
Dang it. Fenrith might just have to survive on his own for the night. I don't think we can really do much of anything.
What time is it? Night or coming on night?
No, it's just past noon now.
Oh, I don't know.
It's actually it's a couple hours past noon.
I think this is one of those times we got to push on, like you taught me, Casimir.
All right. Let's find someplace high, see if we can spot anything. I mean, if he didn't set his bird down on the beach, did you see any other places?
No, I didn't see anything that... I couldn't even see the ground through the trees. The forest is so thick.
Well, if he lands his bird in the forest, that'd probably leave some sort of trail. Maybe we can get up high and spot something like that, or, I don't know, maybe just start walking in, but as dense as that forest is...
How big was the island, Rohan?
It wasn't that large. So, Brandon, how...
Well, you would guess it's around 5 miles.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll say... I'm guessing we could walk across it and back before nightfall.
All right. Let's get started then.
Okay. Did I see anything or any place where we might have gained vantage? Like a vantage point?
Well, you can see on the map there that you're down on the beach, and then there's just a higher ground up those cliffs, and that's like a 20-foot climb. But that's the highest. You didn't see any other high points besides that.
Okay. If we're going straight up the cliffs, I'm going to need someone else to climb it first, or I'm going to die.
No way you can do it.
There's those.
That's not going to save me.
Yeah, so basically the scene is now that you've landed, you can hear the sound of the ocean coming in and the innumerable birds with their different sounds. And then there's all the birds swooping down to eat the crabs, which themselves are crawling around on the rocks and on the beach. And you see the masts of 2 ships that rest there. Who knows how old they are. And the wood is old and rotted and has barnacles on it, and things like that. And then you just hear the sounds of jungle, like chirps and shrieks and howls and every kind of sound coming out of those trees.
We don't make ships like that, right?
Right.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Okay. So I guess I'll drag the dolphin that Avalanche caught over to where the birds are.
Okay.
And before we set out, so that way when they wake up, they got something.
Okay.
All right, Rohan, lead the way.
Okay. Take the lead and start heading up into the forest.
Okay. So just remember that everything you do has a -2. Well, you got a -2 penalty. You can't run or charge. And you take a -2 penalty to anything strength or dex based. So are you going to climb up or go around? Because you did see where the
Path of least
path
resistance, I say.
is
Yeah.
up there.
Go around.
Okay.
I won't be able to stop myself when we get to the edge of the forest. I'll actually shout out Fenrith's name, even though it might be a bad tactical idea.
Okay.
Probably not a bad idea, given how tired we probably are.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so you guys get up there, and Graham starts shouting, and it goes quiet for a second as all the animals stop, because of this brand new sound. But then soon enough, the sound starts up again. Okay, Fenrith, you wake up. You are draped over a tree branch that is cracked. You can see where it's pulling away from the tree itself. It's hard to say how long it'll hold. Everything hurts. You're sure you've got broken ribs. Your face is mangled. You're not sick anymore. You are fatigued, but or you're actually exhausted. Sorry.
What time of day is it?
So this is it's hard for you to say because it's really dark. And up above you, you can see the canopy is so thick that you can't really make out clear sky up above. So it's hard to say.
Okay.
Anyways, so you're 30 feet up, and below you is like brush, like thick undergrowth. You don't actually see ground below you, and then you look back the way you had crashed, and you see your rock laying down in the trees there, right? And like one tree's fallen on top of her, but you spot her orange feathers.
All right. Try to make my way closer to the trunk of the tree, like
Okay.
just across, not down yet.
Just shimmy across. Yeah.
Just try to get off the broken piece at least.
Okay. All right. So as soon as you move, you get this wave of agony sweep through you, right? You almost like lose your vision. You feel like you're about to lose consciousness again. But you push on and you manage to shimmy your way over to the main trunk of the tree.
Okay.
So the only way from where you're at, the only way to get down pretty much the only way you get to the bottom is to wrap around the trunk in a bear hug and sort of slide down because it doesn't have any branches below where you're at.
All right. Could I grab a potion out of my belt or bandolier or whatever we had?
Yeah. Let's see. Hang on real quick.
You should still have your prepared spells too, right?
Yeah, I just don't know how casting would go hanging on up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. You can manage to get a potion out. Make a strength check.
That wasn't.
All right. So you go to reach for a potion out of your bandolier, but your other arm just won't hold you up long enough. So you could reach it, but you think you'd fall if you did.
Chug potions before you hit the ground, man.
All right. So the rest of you,
that.
when you get to, you get up there on that cliff and you look at this into the tree line. It's just a wall of trees, and there aren't, from where you're at, you don't see any paths except for one, which is it's about 100 feet away from you, and it leads straight north on this island.
Is the undergrowth magical?
You don't know.
Only one way to find out.
I'm going to walk through it.
Okay. Yeah, what's that called?
I have the woodland stride
All right.
where natural undergrowth doesn't impede me.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll take a spot in front of Graham and use my trident to try to cut through any of the brush that's real thick
Okay.
while Rohan goes off and try to clear a path for us.
All right. Let's see. Give me 1 second. All right. Yeah. So Rohan just strides right in. And at most points, this brush is like up to your eyes.
Okay.
But you have a natural affinity to be able to push your way through it without it slowing you down. But in here, as you walk in, it does impede your vision. So you're looking at no visibility.
I was more curious if it was just like a wall at that first little bit, and we just need to get through that to get through to more clear, or whether it was solid.
Okay. All right. So what then, Casimir? You're going ahead of Graham. You said.
Yeah, to clear a path for him and myself.
Okay.
And I guess I probably heard you chant some sort of spell when you were doing that, right?
I don't think so. I think it's a natural ability.
Yeah. It's just
Oh, it
his
is.
natural
That's right.
ability,
It's
yeah.
you're not using it. All right. So
So yeah,
I'll just tell you to stay within earshot then, because it's obvious you're able to move more freely than us.
Yeah, I just kind of slipped between the branches and the weeds.
Okay. All right, Fenrith. So you've made it to the main trunk of the tree. You don't think you can grab a potion and stay up?
Could I try to pull myself up onto the branch?
Yeah, so you could, but it's snapped most of the way through. It's like now holding on by the bark versus actual wood. So you don't know if it would hold you.
All right. Well, try to slide down it then.
All right. No, do a strength.
I think I would have the same thing though, because if I'm climbing,
Yeah, just do a strength real quick. Okay, I see. All right. Okay, so yeah, so you get over there, you grab a hold of it, and you start to climb down. It's going fine. You don't fall off, but you do fall faster than you want to. So you zip down this tree pretty quick. The ground rushes up to meet you. All right, Rohan, what did you... So you walked in, and you were hoping maybe it was a wall and it was cleared out inside. But your hopes are dashed, at least at this point. It's just an unending wall of foliage. Now, go ahead and roll a spot and a listen. All three of you. All right. What was Rohan's listen?
Didn't roll my listen for some reason.
you rolled your hero craft.
That's not the button I pushed, though.
Isn't it, though?
He did say it works for anything.
Well, only stuff regarding your hero. So, yeah. You should be able to replace your spot and listen.
So, no cap. Funnel all your ranks into that one
Yeah.
skill. Okay, I think I have 90 skill points I've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Oh, it still is capped, isn't it?
Right, I was just changing the rules a little bit
Oh,
while the
okay.
game master's game mastering.
House
That's the
rule.
time to do it.
The rule of cool.
All in favor? Raise
Aye.
hand. Aye. Ayes have it.
Yes.
Yes, from him too. So I put fatigue as a status on myself. I have no idea if it...
Yes. All right, all of you hear the sound pretty close to you of undergrowth and branches or whatever being pushed out of the way. And Graham and Rohan, off to the right of you, you see a massive shadow there and gone, moving parallel to you.
Was it about where the path looked like it was?
Yeah, it's parallel to these two,
Okay.
but off the path.
Okay.
Okay, Fenrith, make another climb. All right, so now you've controlled your descent, and but just barely. And you slam down to the ground, but you land it.
Okay.
Was that lag? It was. That was some long lag right there.
What's it?
No, I think it was me.
Casimir? How are you rolling my stuff? You got my skill sheet?
No, I accidentally... Apparently you can drag
Yeah,
a roll
you can
from...
drag someone's roll.
I was trying to scroll up by grabbing the...
Okay, Fenrith. So you land now. You are on solid ground, but the underbrush is taller than you here, so
Okay.
you can't see anything. Now you can't even see your rock,
So
but you know the direction she was.
Okay. So at this point, I'll take one of those potions.
Okay.
Come on. Didn't. I have these all set up so they're supposed to roll, but for some reason that one didn't set up like it should have. There.
Okay. Yeah, so you pop the cork off this little bottle and drink it down, and you feel it flow through you. Starts that crazy itching as wounds start to heal themselves incredibly fast, and that's when you get an actual stock of what's wrong with you. Like, everything hurts. You're pretty sure your leg is broken, which is not going to be fixed by a healing potion.
Yeah.
You know ribs were broken, and you can feel them start to stitch themselves back together. You can't see out of your right eye, and you feel a flap of skin on your face, which turns out to be a big chunk of your forehead hanging on, right? Your ears are both cut. And your hand is, both of your hands are, you've got broken fingers there. But as the healing potion sweeps through you, you're able to catch your breath, and now you feel a little bit better. You feel like you're not going to die right this second, at least.
All right. I'll look around in the brush for something that I could use to set my leg.
Easy enough. Yeah.
Do you want a heal check?
Yeah, because if you do it wrong, it'll cause you problems for the rest of your life. That's good. You got it.
Okay.
Now do a will save. Yeah, so you just go and set your leg, and you don't make any noise. Now that you can focus on things besides your wounds, it's a deafening sound in here. Who knows how many different animals and birds and insects all shrieking to high heaven, and calling and tweeting and whatever, right? So that's what you hear.
Okay. So I'll start trying to make my way the direction of the rock.
Yeah, okay. So you basically, let's see how you do it. Yeah, so you're exhausted, so you move at half speed, and you'll take a -6 penalty to anything strength and dex based. Yeah, so you start pushing your way through the undergrowth. All right, so Graham and Rohan, you'd seen that shadow, and you heard the sound of something big moving next to you. What do?
I'll get low, go quiet.
Okay, how far ahead are you, Rohan?
Probably about 20 feet or so.
Okay.
Oh, I suppose Casimir's right ahead of me. I'll tap him on the shoulder and hold a finger up,
Okay.
kind of point in the direction I saw it.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I'll set for a charge just in case,
Okay.
in the direction that Graham points.
And I'm going to try and hide and move silently to get to the point where I saw it move past. See if I can find any tracks or any idea of what this thing is.
Okay. Yeah, roll your hide and move silently.
You should have picked,
Hide.
what was it, Panther?
it
Or
move silently?
whatever it was for your favorite enemy?
I do have animal,
Okay.
so yes, panther counts.
What was it? Was it a panther or was it a jaguar that tried to drag you up a
I
tree?
don't know, but I hate that thing
Yeah.
so much.
Okay. So you're trying to sneak what, in that direction? Or?
Yeah, more not to where it is, but to where it was. So I can see if I can find any tracks or anything that might give away what it is.
Okay. Yeah, so you just see you sneak around. These guys are hunkered down, and you get to where you'd seen it moved, and all you see is evidence that something large moved through and disturbed the foliage or whatever. You don't see like a track in the ground.
Okay.
Just something big.
From like how much has been moved out of the way? Can I get an idea of how big?
Well, yeah, do track or survival, whichever.
Survival.
Yeah, survival.
Wow.
Well, no, that's not bad. So you can gather that it is four-legged. So yeah, Ron, you'd see that it's taller than you, and it has 4 legs, and based on the patterns of the breakage, it's pretty long too.
Okay. All right. I'll work my way back to Graham and Casimir.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Ron comes back to you guys, but so far you don't hear or see anything new.
I guess we've just been waiting for something to spring out at us.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, he's not charging, so you don't
Yeah.
Move
drop that.
silent. Let's see. Can you hear me coming?
I don't think so. Not even if I rolled my highest, especially not with the penalties.
All right.
Okay, so I
Fenrith.
just slip
Yeah,
out.
So you're pushing your way through this undergrowth. heading towards the direction of your rock. And roll a spot and a listen. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, you're pushing through it, headed towards your rock. Moving at half speed, so it's real slow going. You're still pretty tired and fatigued. All right, roll on. Casimir and Graham. So you hunker down for a bit, but you don't see or hear anything.
Okay, now you said there was a path a little bit farther up the way that we might be able to use to get through.
Well, I thought that's what these guys were on.
Oh,
It's still fairly overgrown is what I thought was happening.
Yeah, it's just really overgrown.
It's just that it's better than trying to walk through the actual jungle.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll ask them to stay here while I go scout ahead.
Okay.
They can keep trying to clear, but be careful.
Yeah, I don't think that we'll make any progress if we keep hunkering down. We're just going to have to keep pushing or stop for the day, hope our rocks are rested in the morning, and fly around the island.
All right, go ahead and scout ahead, Ron. So you move forward along the path?
Yeah, doing the hide and move silently the whole way.
Okay. So do a spot and a hide and move silently.
Spot, hide, move silent. Ooh, that's not a good move.
Okay, where are you?
Oh, is that fatigue automatically affecting us? Is that what I'm seeing?
I put the effect on my character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did too.
I don't know how to remove it though.
You go to it and in the tracking bar, the player.
Combat tracker.
Yeah, and there should be a button when you click on the little human.
Okay, I see.
Okay. All right, so as you're pushing ahead, you're doing your scouting, looking around. You don't see anything like what you'd seen before, but you do spot up ahead, and you manage to stop before stepping on a coiled viper.
Okay.
Good eating.
So it is.
How did you guys add that effect?
There's a little person silhouette. Click on that. It brings up all the effects, and then you drag it onto your character in the combat tracker.
It's it's camouflaged really well. It's like brown and green, although it does have angry looking red stripes on the side of its head. So it's huge too. Bigger than a viper should get. It's about as big as well, you don't have those. It's huge.
Okay.
Like the actual size huge, or just big
No,
for the
just
snake?
really big for a viper. Really big.
I was gonna say that's some real good eating.
Does it look like it's readying to strike?
No.
Okay.
It's just coiled up and resting beside the trail.
Okay, I'll try and skirt around it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so how far forward do you want to go?
I'll travel forward, I don't know, maybe a half a mile inland, trying to look for any sign of Fenrith while getting an idea of what else is on the island.
Okay. All right. So as you move forward, you start to spot more snakes now. Some of them, well, one in particular, you look at for a long time before realizing it is a snake because it's so massive. It's easily as big around as your waist, and
Okay.
it stretches. I mean, you're only seeing one part of it. Who knows how long it stretches into the undergrowth as it slithers away.
Okay.
So you see that and little else. Although, yeah. So as far as you have gone, that's all you've seen of any interest so far.
Okay.
Now, Graham and Casimir do a spot and a listen. Do a listen and then a spot.
Ugh.
Graham, are you napping?
I'm tired. Not napping though.
Okay.
It didn't seem to put the minus on.
Well, fatigued is only strength and dex.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you're hunkered down there, right? And this undergrowth, like the path, it's like a foot wide, right? So, but it's pretty well worn there. It's just this 1 foot little section, like a snake, going through the trees, but the undergrowth still grows up next to it and pushes over. So you're really, down in it. You're hunkered down waiting for Rohan. And you don't hear anything. You just both happen to be looking in the same direction. A couple of trees about 10 feet away, and the space in between them is more undergrowth, it seems. But as you look, you realize it's not undergrowth. It's a massive face of an enormous cat. This head is huge. It's got orange and black stripes. And this particular one, so you guys don't know what this is. You don't have them, but you know big cats. This is, well beyond a big cat. And it's got orange and black stripes, and it's got these 3-inch long teeth, but also it has black spikes sticking out of its fur on the side of its face and on the top of its head. It's got those cat eyes, and it's staring right at you 10 feet away. What do?
Freeze.
All ready for a charge.
Okay. All right. Okay, Rohan. You still haven't seen anything. How much further you want to go?
I'll start making kind of a loop, go a little bit farther out, and work my way back around to head back to them. If it's much deeper than about a 3/4 of a mile in this, then we're gonna have a better chance from our rocks tomorrow.
Okay. So what else do you see? So you go a loop, you say? To which direction?
Just kind of instead of heading straight across the island, kind of range out a little bit to like my left and then loop around to the right and to head back.
Okay. So about the point at which you would loop around, you come upon an interesting scene. So you sort of surprised yourself by breaking out of the undergrowth, and you've got a nice little clearing, 40 feet diameter probably, soft, loamy forest, no undergrowth, and a nice clear pond, right? And you can see there's some sort of current in it, some sort of ripple, but it's too constant to be an animal, right? Like it's fed from underground.
Okay.
Right. So that pond is, pretty decent size. It's like a 15-foot diameter.
Okay.
And just the most clear water you've ever seen. So you can see all the way to the bottom. It's probably like 12 feet. And all on the soft ground, you can see every kind of track. This is obviously a popular watering hole.
So I'll take a moment to just kind of note the different kinds of tracks I see.
Yeah, so what pops out immediately is a cat track, like from the panther in the bowl forest that you guys encountered, right?
Okay.
Only it's if you curled up, you could lay down in it almost. It's just enormous. And so you're there looking at those tracks, and then across the pond, you look up when you hear a noise, and you see a creature step out. Not slowly, not warily, just busts out of the undergrowth and trots over. You can feel the ground as it trots. And everybody, you've seen a pig before. You've seen boar before. And this is a wild boar, but it's way bigger than a boar could ever possibly get. And whereas the normal boars already look like a pretty vicious creature, this one even more so. It's got a row of jagged plates spiked plates down its back, and it's got black, what look like spines maybe from a porcupine or something, sticking out of the side of its face and the top of its head. Its eyes are black, little specks are red in them, and it comes trotting out as if it owns the place and goes to drink from the pool. So it's let me give you an idea of the size here. So where it stops and goes to drink from the pool, you can see that this thing is 10 feet long.
Okay.
From snout to tail. And if it were standing in front of you, you'd have a good view into its mouth.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to have noticed you yet.
I'm going to try and slip quietly back into the underbrush.
Okay. Do your quiet.
It's not quiet. Well, it's quiet, just not quiet for me.
All right. So you start sneaking back, and as you get back into the undergrowth, its head pops up and it looks around a bit. It clearly doesn't focus on you, but it starts sniffing the air, and then it starts making a slow circle around, sniffing at the ground, heading in your direction.
Okay. I'll start pushing my way in the direction I was going to be headed.
You might be faster than it in the forest.
That's kind of what I'm banking on. Hopefully it at least halves its speed so I can stay a little bit ahead of it.
All right, Fenrith. So you're pushing your way through, and you've noticed now, you don't know how far you've got left to go, but you notice now that suddenly everything's gone quiet.
All right, I'll look around, see if I can identify anything.
Okay, so yeah, you look around, you got to stand up on your tiptoes and try to get a look at things. You see the trees in this area have a lot of vines. There's a lot of vines everywhere hanging down and connecting one tree to another. But you don't see any creatures. But when you stand up there to look, you can see orange and realize you're about 20 feet away from your bird.
Okay. Sorry, I wanted to make sure that it was adding the exhausted thing, because that's why I rolled that move silently. Because I'm not actually moving silently.
Well, that's what your roll bears up.
Can we hear him from where we are?
No.
All right. Yeah, I'll finish making my way to it, and then I'll go ahead and cast a cure on it if I'm able to.
All right, so you make it up to your bird. She's her eyes open when she sees you, right? And she reacts to you, but like her right wing is broken over completely, like backwards, right? So it's like draped across the top of her body. And there's blood everywhere on the ground, all the leaves. She's like making these big labored breaths, right? You can see that the rigging for the seat, that managed to survive intact, but she's missing feathers everywhere. There's branches sticking into her, things like that. And that's just what you can see. Who knows what's underneath her on her underbelly. But yeah, she reacts when she sees you.
So the idea here is what I'm trying to do is a cure basically to try and stabilize her a little bit more before I start pulling out branches and trying to set the wing.
Yeah, well, your cure spells will push branches out and set the wing right. I just don't. Potions don't.
Yeah. All right.
Right, so you go ahead and lay hands on her, and what do you cast?
Cure critical.
Okay.
It was 26 for that one.
Okay.
And then 24 for a second one.
All right. So yeah, you cast these two, and she shrieks, like out of surprise. Right. She's not ready for it and doesn't know what it is. She doesn't understand that you're helping her, so she starts to thrash around. So the trees all around are shaking like someone's, trying to get coconuts out of them, and it's making a terrible racket. But you watch as her body starts to repair itself, which is almost as painful of a sight to see, because the wing pulls back over and cracks and pops, and the bone sets, and she shrieks, and branches get pushed out by the power of the spell, and they don't have anywhere to go, so they're pushed out of her, but still laying on top of her. So she's still well and truly stuck. She's not, and, she has an extreme amount of hit points. So the little healing you've done so far that's basically what you've done, is made it so she won't continue to take damage, but there's still so much work to do.
I'll keep at it if she still needs it. It'll drop into the cure serious.
Okay.
Some good cure seriouses.
Yeah. And then so it's about 115 hit points there. She's still looking.
Yeah, well, you've got her halfway back to full.
Okay.
All right, so Casimir and Graham, it's not until this thing moves that you realize you actually could see the whole thing. instead of just its face. It's just camouflaged so well you didn't know that's what you were seeing. And so it was doing that thing cats do when they're ready to pounce, sort of hunkered down. Now it stands up, and its face would be level with yours, standing straight up. And I mean, it's just so enormous. A regular tiger is already obscenely huge. This is, double that. But it stands up and just moves towards you at a leisurely pace. What do?
Shrink down behind Casimir.
Does it look like it's still preparing to pounce or anything? Like, not preparing, but doing like any of that, like stalking?
Nope. It looks just like your cat when it's just walking up to somebody. It's just that it obviously has zero fear of you.
Well,
Scratch its
I
ears.
guess I'll handle animal and attempt to show it that I have zero fear of it, type of thing. Not try to scare it off or anything, but
Yeah.
Then,
Okay.
all right.
So that's another 115, but that uses up all my 1, 2, 3, and 4 level spells for today.
It's like trying to keep
I rolled the
math
right thing.
alive.
That was the wrong thing. Sorry. That would have been a
You gather that
18.
he doesn't have much to say.
Would have been an 18.
Okay.
So yeah, basically trying to convey, don't attack us. We don't attack you, type of thing. As I don't know, however animals would do that.
What's the word in the jungle, big cat?
Bear comes dancing out.
Ba-ba-boo-ba.
But I think we're actually getting closer to being in a Mario level than Jungle Book.
Who's Omen? Where's Omen at? Did we lose Omen in the storm?
No.
Did Omen stay in the village?
The cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she stayed there. So did the raven.
Oh,
Did you intend to bring the raven? Because you just said not a word about it.
I just figured it went where I went.
Couldn't keep up. The rocks fly too fast.
There's a box I could put it in.
Like 3 or 4 months from now, Omen will come swimming up.
All right. So it walks towards you, and it stops for a second when you start doing your handle animal to communicate, but just a second, and then it carries on, and it actually sort of like pushes in between you, right? So you can see as it gets close these massive paws and its shoulders. It just shoulders its way between you and carries on into the jungle. And it's at this time that you guys start to hear. So Rohan, you're moving back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear behind you like a twig snap, and that's when you see that boar there has sort of caught up to you, going by smell, right?
Okay.
So it's not right behind you, It's a ways back. It's not like taking a piggyback ride, but when you whip around to look, it sees that and sees you, and then it squeals, right? And it sounds hollow, like it reverberates. It sounds sort of demonic, actually.
Okay.
And it comes charging you, right? What do?
Try and get out of the way.
Yeah.
Is the underbrush slowing it down at all?
It's pushing that away like it's made out of paper.
Okay. And it's probably moving like way faster than I could.
It seems like it. And it's moving right towards you, and it's huge. So it seems like it's moving at 40 feet per turn or per action.
I can't remember. Can I run while using
What do you treat it as? Nothing? What's the wording?
that? Yeah, that's what I gotta look at.
Although you can't
Within
run while you're
stride.
fatigued.
Move through any sort of undergrowth at normal speed and without taking damage or suffering any other impairments.
Yeah, you can run.
If not for the fatigue.
True.
Yeah.
I guess my only real option left is climb a tree.
What's the
All right.
magic card
So
saying?
you, Casimir and Graham, you hear this like demonic sounding, almost sounds like a pig squeal, right? And then you hear snapping as little, undergrowth is snapped in trees or whatever, and the tiger bounds off in that direction, making surprisingly little sound as it does. Fenrith. Yeah, so you've got her all healed up, but she's passed out now. The shock was too much, so she's sleeping.
I'll kind of push up against her and lay down myself.
Okay. Okay, so what do you want to do, Ron?
Climb a tree.
Okay, yeah, so you start to climb the tree, and this thing sees you, and it comes tearing at you, right? These massive tusks. And go do a climb check.
And here I die. See if the ranks I put to it do anything. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You want to borrow mine?
That would be great, but I don't think that's allowed.
You get your luck of the heroes.
That's true.
Yeah, might as well burn it.
Okay.
Well, I think all those climb rolls you failed successively.
You know, statistically, I should have gotten something higher than a 3 by now.
There you go.
All right, so you can move half your speed up the tree.
Technically, this is a natural environment, so the impairments from gravity might not factor in. You can just move full speed up the tree.
You can moon jump in for us and stuff.
All right, so it charges anyways and slams head first right into the tree. And it snaps and starts to fall over.
Jump to the next one.
Okay, Graham, you hear in your mind, watch out.
Watch out for what?
That's what Bloodtooth says, just like he's suddenly alarmed, and he says, watch out.
Well,
Let's have Graham and Casimir roll initiative.
Are we down to partial actions as well, or is it just the -2 on the stuff? Or
just the
-1?
-2 penalty to strength and dex.
Okay.
So, and then no running or charging.
No. We're in the middle of...
We already lost all that anyways. So. Screw you, fatigue.
Double no.
I was
moving.
already in a jungle.
Yeah.
Now exhaustion sets in.
Yeah. I'm going to cast Magic Missile
You
on
have
the
a
jungle.
wand.
Yeah.
At the darkness.
No, Justin. The jungle.
There's an elf there. His hair is gray and his eyes are gray.
I was like, weren't they blue?
Maybe. I don't know.
No. I want my eyes to be gray. Or whatever it was.
Right.
I've got a +13 knife against ogres. You're not there. You're at the tavern getting drunk.
Am I drunk?
That was, what, 13 years ago?
Yeah, what was that part of it? It was some PS2 game.
It was part of the Summoner. That
Summoner, yeah.
horrible game.
Oh, the cutscene was horrible too. You guys forced me, or you, Justin, forced me to watch that every time I came over.
I did love that.
Chris is like, I'd have 2 hours more time if it
Yeah.
weren't for that.
Well, I think it was because he was just like drunk all the dang time, and so he'd forget that he'd shown it to me.
That's a possibility.
The only time we weren't drunk is when we had a case of Mike's Hard Lemonade.
And then
We
had
just
a headache.
couldn't get drunk.
Yeah.
Oh man, that stuff's so gross.
In all fairness, though, I think John showed me the Badger video like 300 times as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
so.
he'd do that.
I knew that you had seen it already, though.
That's the point of
Yeah.
that, is to annoy everyone. That and that.
Okay.
Oh,
So, Graham, what's your AC?
I believe it's 18 when I'm fatigued. Luckily, I can't be caught flat-footed.
True enough. So, yeah, Bloodtooth says, watch out, and...
Bloodtooth, your warnings do nothing.
Bloodtooth is actually the reason why
Something.
you can't be caught.
just suddenly appears and exists and latches onto your shoulder.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, in your panic, you just see a snake head that's as big as you almost. I mean, it's an enormous snake. And there's snakes on Cradle, but there's nothing like this at all. And when that happens, Casimir, all you can see is that it stretches. You can see a part of it here and a part of it there. It's the size of the whole island. That's what you think. The whole island is this snake. So it latches onto you,
swallow whole. Oh no,
Graham, and then it begins to coil around you. So we'll do a let's see, bite attack. So it hit with its bite. So let me do the damage there.
All this to try and save Fenrith, who is napping.
Yep. Sounds like a cleric to me. Can you drag some tokens out so we can have something to target? We don't need actual dimensions or anything.
So it's done 15 damage to you.
Okay.
And then I think we're going to do an opposed grapple here. Yeah, an opposed grapple.
We should just went to sleep.
Yeah.
You're right. I was trying to do the opposite of what I would do. Actually, that was what I would do. Or what Graham would do.
Yeah, so he wins the grapple. It wins the grapple. It's actually a she. So comes out, gets a hold of you, and then just starts wrapping around immediately. So that's what you see. Okay, Rohan.
So you win the grapple.
So
So the tree's fallen.
I'm going to activate my Ring of Featherfall so I don't hit the ground too hard.
Okay.
And when I hit the ground, I'm going to try and duck into the underbrush in a way that I can hide from the boar. Hopefully disguising where I go on, the chaos of the tree falling.
Right. So the tree falls, you let go and activate your ring, and you're looking at where you're going to slip into the jungle, and that's when you see this massive tiger appears right out of the undergrowth. Right.
And you're right into its mouth.
That's kind of what I'm imagining is I'm falling out of the tree and right down the throat of the tiger.
But don't worry.
Walks away satisfied.
There's a helicopter in there, and that crashes into you. Kill
No,
you.
Okay.
roll a percentile.
Why didn't that roll? There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're floating down, you see it has no interest in you, and it sails past you and tackles this boar. And then they start fighting. So you hear, growls and squeals as they begin fighting. And you land safely about 10 feet away from them.
I'm going to leave nature to take its course and head back.
Okay.
You're lucky. If you were me, you would have already had that fight, come over where you were and get you involved accidentally.
Yeah. It'll roll right over me as I trying to flee.
Yep.
All right. So then, that round. Now, Graham, you're in this grapple. What do you do?
You can attack with a knife.
Yeah, I gotta win the grapple to draw it, though.
Oh.
I was gonna draw it when I got the warning, but the narration moved too fast.
Bloodtooth says, I told you.
You should always carry Bloodtooth in your teeth.
Just absorb him through your hip and out your shoulder.
Hand.
Is that a
Or that.
possibility? So oppose grapple to get Bloodtooth out of his sheath.
Okay.
How much damage would that do around as it passes up your hip?
Probably enough to kill you.
I'd say coup de grace each round, and it moves, I don't know, maybe a section.
Would it use his sneak attack damage as well?
So you did not win
It would
the
use
opposed
its
grapple.
sneak attack.
That's
Which is
all
probably
I
higher
can
than
do.
Graham's.
Okay. Let's see. Let's clean this up here.
I guess I could do it twice.
Oh, you got your second attack? Nice.
No, it's a move action to try to draw it. It's just
Oh,
only on a successful grapple check. Does that mean I can attempt to do it twice with two move actions?
Why does the token that used to be Graham look like a steaming bowl of ramen now?
There's my other one.
probably trying to load.
Rohan, make roll initiative. Yeah, you can't automatically fail a grapple, can you? Yeah, you can. Here's that.
So, how badly were you beaten in that grapple check?
Very
Roll the
badly.
20.
32.
Oh no, you were. Oh, it's like, oh no, that's your first one. Yeah. Ouch. You might be better off getting swallowed whole,
And
Yeah,
then
attacking it
start
from the
to
inside.
do it.
but it hasn't dealt him any damage yet, other than the 15.
Play
Gullet's
dead.
hurt.
It's a bluff, though.
All right. So that's Graham. So this thing begins to tighten its grip on you, its constriction. So it's a opposed grapple check, which it won. So
So the only way you can win the grapple is if it rolls a 1 and you roll a 20.
Yeah.
Well, if it auto fails,
yeah, if it gets a
then it
1.
doesn't matter what I roll unless I roll a 1.
Okay. So yeah, that's the only.
So you're saying I got a 5% chance.
Yes.
Okay, Rohan.
There's a chance.
So far, you haven't heard what's going on with them, so don't metagame it.
I'm still in a hurry to get away from the giant boar that just tried to run me over.
Okay.
So,
Plus, Graham is silently screaming.
so yeah, I'll be hide and move silently. I'll take the -5 penalty to move at my full speed.
Okay. Roll a spot.
Alright. Only need the first one.
The first one?
Yeah. Forgot you don't have to double click those ones.
Yeah. I wish there was some sort of symbol that would show single or double clicking.
Oh, the little senses ones? Or which ones?
These ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my macros. I'm so used to just doing it out of the character sheet that...
Yeah, it gets me a lot, too. So what I look like is Arnold at the end of Total Recall out on Mars, which seems unnecessary.
All right. So you're hide and move silently. You're looking around as you move back towards your companions. That's your turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am taking the -5 to try and head back faster.
All right. So suddenly you feel this extraordinary pain in your ankle, and you look down, and there's a snake attached to you. Regular sized one. Same coloring as that bigger one you saw. This one's quite a bit smaller, like a baby maybe. But it's bit into your calf because you stepped on it. So if you look under your boot, you can see part of its tail. Right. It just blended in too well, and you didn't see it, so it's bitten you.
Okay.
Gotta nuke this island from orbit.
It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah. We can't have this getting out into the world.
So you take 3 damage, and you're poisoned. So roll a fort save.
5%.
Come on.
Dang it. That's a fail.
Can you automatically fail for
Yes.
6? Okay, so yeah, I fail.
You can automatically succeed and fail all saves.
All right.
So now you're paralyzed.
So, Graham, there was your 1% that the snake was supposed to get. And I already used my Luck of Heroes. So.
Oh, dang it. Let's rewind that. Might as well use it. Oh, man.
I was going to regret saying those words.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a giant alligator coming up soon, too. And we're going to go right over a waterfall.
If I had gone to the pond, there would have been one there.
It's a secret waterfall. That's why there's always burbling.
Dire Island.
So you take 3 constitution damage.
Okay.
Casimir, your turn.
All right. Let's, I'll minus... Does that work? I don't know. Come on. Oh, I see what's wrong. There we go. Nope, still didn't work. What the heck here? Oh, sometime. I'm going to -4 for my attack and add it to my damage, and I'm going to attack the snake. What the heck do we got here? -10, -5, so none of those count, so 15, it would have been like an 11.
Okay. That would be normally a miss, but maybe it loses.
I think it just loses its dex in a grapple.
Yeah. Which would be... That would hit. 11 would hit.
Okay.
Yep, that would just do it.
All right.
All right, so 18 damage.
And that's my turn.
All right, so you slash it or stab it.
Slash, probably.
Okay.
See if I can try to start cutting through some of the coils.
Okay, Fenrith is sleeping. Graham.
All right, we'll
I
try
know you guys are on this island.
to grapple my dagger out.
I'm actually not sure we're on the same island either.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
First one.
I'm going to picture him waking up like the Princess and the Pea. Like, oh, I slept on a rock. Oh, Casimir, Rohan, Graham, how were you guys? We're all got bite
Covered in
marks.
animals.
Oh, yeah, he failed.
Oh, nice.
Rolled a 1.
All right, so with my dagger free, I can attack with a -4 penalty. So I'll start slashing. Got my arm out with blood tooth. I'll just be
Okay.
slashing around with it.
Just as Casimir comes in.
I parry his.
Why would you do that, Graham?
Nice.
Two ends of the spectrum there. Critical with a immediate.
So you don't
One
critical.
Yeah.
Still a hit. Roll damage.
Do you have any gems, Phil?
Oh yeah.
I thought you had 3, didn't you?
No, I got 1. You said I don't have to be in the conditions to do a sneak attack to release the damage in the stored in the rubies, the
Right.
gems.
You just don't gain any unless you do a sneak attack.
Actually, I'll hold on to it. Let's see.
In case you need healing.
Actually, I'm going to take the healing now
Oh.
because I couldn't survive another constrict if it's been like the last 2.
Okay.
So that's 9 hit points.
All right.
You'll have to change it though. I can't
Okay.
because I was doing it in the wrong spot.
All right. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So now with you slashing it and Fenris stabbing it, it immediately lets go of you. So you can feel it's got a row of teeth in its mouth. They're real sharp. They let go, so you can feel blood pouring out of your shoulder. But then it starts slithering into the undergrowth.
Attempt to maintain the grapple.
Rohan.
Um,
So this snake's got its fangs right in your calf.
Just chop it.
It's like it bit you out of surprise.
I'm going to try a handle animal. I'm going to lift my foot off of it and try and get it to let go.
Take the poison with you, please.
Yes, suck it back into your fangs.
Okay. So the things you can do with handle animal.
I guess basically I'm trying to change it from being an enemy to being not an enemy.
Neutral, most likely.
Yeah.
Unless you rolled really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
All right. Go ahead and roll handle animal.
So yeah, first I'm going to, not step on it anymore. That's a pretty good one.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, as soon as you lift your boot, I mean, I shouldn't have said its fangs were still stuck in your leg. That was just for dramatic effect. These things are so quick that
Yeah, just strike and let go.
It was ready to bite him a third time, but
yeah,
decided not
right,
to.
exactly. But yeah, as soon as you lift up your boot, it starts trying to slither away.
Okay. And then I'll try and proceed on my path.
Okay.
Do you want any more hide and move silentlies or?
No, you're almost back.
Okay. Well, I'd rather not run into the snake that bit Graham either.
You could do spots.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Once again, it's just the first one.
Okay, Casimir.
So the snake's fleeing? Did it disengage or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's not anywhere near me, I guess I can't attack it, and I'm not going to chase after it. It seems slightly foolhardy to me.
All right. Yeah, so Graham's trying to catch his breath now, and shortly after, Rohan comes hobbling back to you guys. He's taking a wound on his leg. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and it's almost nightfall.
I don't think we can make it much further today, Rohan.
I agree. That is a dangerous forest.
Let's head back to the beach, start a fire, see if we can get ourselves something to eat.
I'll have to tell you what I saw in there. Graham, what happened to you?
Giant snake.
I think I saw that one.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw it
he saw
before.
big or something
yeah.
like
On
it.
the
Yeah.
way in, something, a snake with a body as big around as my waist.
Yeah, no, I remember that one. I thought it was on the way back.
Okay, that's where we'll stop for tonight.
All right.
Thanks, Brennan.
Thank you.
Curse you, Fenris.
This has been a Death Watch production. Thank you for listening.